So, based on what you've outlined for us in the past, and based on what I've seen with my own eyes, watching both quarterbacks play some significant snaps against big opponents last year, well, Tyler Buckner's the favorite, and he is the favorite of fans for obvious reasons. He's got the ceiling. He's the guy that can tap out at a high level to provide that kind of game-changing ability at quarterback, where Drew Pyne, as you've stated, makes the right decision, goes to the right read, does the right things, takes care of the football, but there are limitations there. So is it concerning to you? You want to be in a situation where you go into the season and you feel confident with both guys, but you go with a more talented player because he's making the right decisions and
Right.
being a leader on the field. But Pyne not having a good spring, even though he shouldn't be on the field, you never know, and kind of questioning his ability once he gets on the field if he's called upon.
I think the issue with Drew this spring has been he's pressing. I think he's in a quarterback battle, and he knows what we all know. I mean, Drew's a smart kid. He watches Tyler Buckner play and is like, that guy can do things I can't do. And I think what that has caused is Drew to press a lot because he's been, from what I've been told, turning the ball over more, and that's not Drew Pyne's game, right? And so, I think that Drew has to kind of say, hey, look, you can't out Tyler, right? You'd have to just manage the offense. You have to rely on the fact that you are a game manager in the traditional encouraging sense, not the insult, like, you say it as an insult to a guy, right? Like, you need to be that point guard quarterback, right? Where, you just get it where it needs to go, let your teammates do the rest. And I think that Drew kind of got out of that a little bit this spring from talking to sources, trying to do too much, trying to be a playmaker when that's just not his game. So hopefully this game allows him to settle down on that. But he's going to have to realize, like, you are not going to beat Tyler out by being something that you're not. You have to be the best version of who you are. And I think that's what Drew needs to do. But the end of the day, both of these quarterbacks still have a lot to prove. And I think that, as you mentioned, Tyler's the guy that I think gets that nod right now because he's not a finished product by any stretch, but he's the kind of kid dynamically with his arm and his legs can go out and make plays. Drew needs to be surrounded by great players. And I think that's where a lot of my optimism comes with Drew, Mark, to be honest with you, is I think this is going to be a very talented Notre Dame offense, assuming it's healthy. I mean, that's going to be the big key. They have a very thin margin for error from a talent standpoint. They can't afford to lose receivers in the fall the way they have for the spring, right? Because of the margin for error. They're very loaded at running back. Their offensive line should be excellent again. They have, in my opinion, the best tight end in the country, at the very least one of the 2 or 3 best tight ends in the country, a very talented tight end room. So I think there is a place for a quarterback just to say, run the offense, get the ball where it needs to go. And we saw that in the bowl game with Jack Cohn, right? There's a lot of weapons to throw the ball to. Just make the right decision, get the ball out, let those playmakers go make plays. I mean, Jack Cohn had a 50-yard touchdown on a ball that went 2 yards past the line of scrimmage because he just got the ball out to Chris Tyree and go let him do his thing. And I think that's where Drew can thrive. It just, he has to eliminate some of the mistakes that he's had this spring and just trust himself, trust the offense, play within himself, and he'll be fine.